I'm Robin Scott at Oklahoma State University, Oklahoma City. Today we have Jennifer Poynter, who is Department Head for Developmental Studies with us. Welcome, Jennifer. Would you please tell us about the Developmental Department and how student success classes fit into it?
Sure. Well, Developmental Studies is a pretty new program. In the last 5 years or so, we've created it for the growing need for extra instruction for students who aren't quite ready for college. The student success class has just been moved over into our department in the last year because there was a growing need there for help with students coming into the developmental classes, helping them with time management skills, with computer skills, with basic concepts of how not to procrastinate, how to take good notes, etc.
All right, so if someone wants to be an instructor in either the developmental studies or student success, you're the one they should contact.
Yes, definitely.
All right, directly.
Yes, and I can be contacted on the website very easily.
All right.
At www.OSU-OKC.edu, and you can just click on the directory, find my name and my picture, and there's a link to my email and my phone number right there.
All right, wonderful. Well, how do students get in developmental classes and/or student success classes?
The process is different for both. So let me say first, the Developmental Studies program uses guidelines based on ACT and/or Compass scores. So give you an example, if a person comes in and makes a 14 on the ACT, he or she may be placed into a pre-algebra class, isn't quite ready to get into that intro or intermediate algebra class, which would then lead them on to college algebra. Now, having said that, I will say that if at any time a student's in pre-algebra and feels like, I'm doing this, I can get on to intermediate algebra, I think now. That student can come over and test, take our Compass test and see if they score within that range of getting into college algebra. So they're not by any means stuck in our program once they're there. We might just need, for example, you might have a returning student who comes back after 20 years and even wants to be in our program because they're not comfortable with their algebra skills. It's been 20 years since they've been in a math classroom. After 4 or 5 weeks, and this happens all the time with Wayne Brown, he'll come to me and say, I think this student is pretty confident now and needs to move on. So we'll try to place them correctly at any point into a class that they're more comfortable with or that they can test into.
And so then a student success class, where does that fit in for a student?
So a student success class is a little different because they don't test into those classes. It is a choice that they will make. And Gatra Newcomb and Joy Whelan many times are down in our advising services helping students make that choice. Maybe they come in on academic probation from another college. Maybe their transcript last semester showed many F's on it, D's and F's. They're not doing the kind of work that they want to do. Sometimes the advisors will encourage them, or a student will on his or her own decide, I think I might need some help with my study skills. I need to find out why I'm not doing so well. What can I do to be more successful? And one of the things we do in student success that helps students a lot is to see that we're all different kinds of learners.
Okay, so obviously these instructors would be helping students with their knowledge, with their skills. What other challenges would instructors have with these students?
There are a lot of challenges in this area. Many times you're getting students who haven't been to school in 20 years, who are afraid of the computer. You may have on the other side students who know everything about a computer and may know more than the instructor. So trying to meet in the middle there is often a big challenge. How do you cater to the person who has extra needs versus the one who doesn't have that need at that time? It's a little bit of a juggling act to be able to put it all together.
As an instructor, what kind of extra help would I be expected to provide?
I would say on top of the normal instructor expectations, a developmental studies instructor is going to need to build in a little bit more flexibility. We really stress that these students are in zero-level classes or in the Gen 1152 because they are not college ready. And that's very important to understand before you start teaching in this field, that they do need a little extra sometimes, not always, but to be a little more open and lenient to building that flexibility into a schedule, so that if you realize that a whole class of students is not understanding how to get on D2L, you need to stop at that point and say, all right, let's all log on, or schedule a time in the library. I have one class this semester who the class is very tech savvy, and the problem I have in there is keeping them off of the technology, keeping them from texting, keeping them from being on Facebook. The other class was full of students who specifically enrolled in a course that was not in a technology environment. So then I have to ease them into using our technology that we have on campus.
All right, well, for people who are considering being instructors in this field, what would you tell them about how this field is developing, the direction that you see on our campus?
It is a developing field. What's exciting about being an instructor is that you would have the ear of me, someone who's developing this program and wants to make it into something wonderful and something that we can be proud of and show other campuses how we're evolving. Because across the country, this is becoming a bigger and bigger issue, especially at community colleges, how to handle the student that is not quite college ready. We're just now, it's a recent issue, we're just now in the last few years really concentrating on what ends up being about the 40% of our community that isn't ready, but we are very sure that we can help them get ready.
So in the future, in curriculum and helps for students, what do you predict?
I predict that technology isn't going away, that we're going to help our students adapt to more and more technology. I would love it if all of our students had a laptop as soon as they enroll in school, so that's loaded with things that they needed, that's loaded with the programs they needed, loaded maybe with a short video that tells them this is how to log on to D2L, this is how to access any online lectures, notes, your syllabus. This is how to use the OSU-OKC website. This is how you can contact financial aid. All of that ideally would be there, and the student success instructor would be there as a medium between those two things, between technology and instruction.
Well, it sounds like a big challenge for somebody to take on a class, to move them along in the right way. What help would there be when an instructor encounters problems or challenges?
We're very lucky in that way at OSU-OKC. We have quite a network built up for people. We have one really great tech support. If the person teaching here has never been on our campus, they might not know that we have a help desk on the first floor of the LRC. We have on the second floor a computer lab with many experienced work-study students, as well as many faculty on that floor. In the administration building, we have many people there to help in advising and enrollment, to help encourage students to get those enrollments in early so that they get the classes that they want. We have a big array of people here to help. We have a proactive advisor whose whole job is to help. If you think there's a student who just needs to be contacted, who may need help with transportation or something like that, we have someone in that position who will hand call that student and deal with some of those issues to take some of that pressure off of the instructor. An instructor can't be the be-all and the end-all. We have wonderful faculty, staff support.
And of course, you're always there to consult.
Of course,
okay.
Of course.
All
LRC
right.
340 every day.
That's great. All right, and so what would you say is the profile of a successful student success instructor?
I definitely think that enthusiasm is a big part of this job. Many times students come in scared to death. They've been told maybe, or they feel themselves, that they can't do it. So the instructor needs to be able to believe in second chances for some of these students that are coming in on probation, and remind them that here we can wipe the slate clean, start over, start fresh, and also have reasonable goals and expectations. We unfortunately lose a lot of students due to issues outside of our realm of help. When that happens, it's difficult as an enthusiastic instructor not to be disappointed and not to worry and question everything that you do as an instructor, but to realize that the students you do help, you might be helping in a huge way. And there's the story that I love to tell about my Pakistani student who did not speak this language at all, came in, needed help getting his Social Security card, took him down to the Social Security office, and years went by, I think almost 7 years, 10 years, who knows. A lot of time went by, and I actually just saw him at the mall. And I see him many times at the Norman Mall. And he went on from OSU-OKC, from being in developmental classes to being in regular classes, all the way to transferring to UCO to get the business degree that he was interested in, and now owns his own kiosk at the mall. So having that kind of experience helps me stay motivated. Staying motivated is a difficult part of this job because unfortunately you will see lots of times that students will fall away and you don't know exactly what happened to them. But having said that, there are many wonderful days of successes. This semester is ending right now, and so I'm particularly nostalgic already about this semester and all the contacts I've made with my students. We have such a diverse group here. I have students from the ages of 16 to 70 this semester. I enjoy getting to know those people. I enjoy getting to know their story and telling them my story and telling them how difficult college can be, but that they can do it, that I believe in them. Belief in them is a big part of the job. And they definitely know if you do not have that same kind of belief. Not every person should be a developmental studies instructor. And so if you find yourself being frustrated, all of those things, please come, if you're an instructor that's new, please come talk to me, because sometimes just talking with a new instructor and letting them know that we have the same frustrations that they do helps them, and I can maybe help give advice of what have I done in this situation. I definitely want instructors to know you don't have to do it alone. Make sure that you're having student issues. If you're having problems with technology, there's someone to help, and I'm a good resource for finding that help.
All right, well, I've had the pleasure of meeting several of your students coming out of your class this semester,
yes.
And that would be motivating in and of itself. They're just great. And so we want to thank Jennifer for being with us, because this is a vital part of our campus, and we want to encourage as many people as possible to consider being an instructor in developmental studies and student success classes.
Thank you, Anna.
Thank you.